On your left.
On my left. Got it. Don't say it. Don't you say
On
it.
your left.
Come on! What is up, guys? It's Alex.
It's Quinn.
It's Iconic Comic, and this is On Your Left Podcast, episode 6.2. 6.2. We tried to do the one podcast, and something kind of messed with the recording, so we're coming at you now with episode 6.2.
Yeet.
All right, so first off, let's go ahead. Let's recap Comic-Con. Now, I know we talk about Marvel a lot, but let's try to hit, multiple facets of Comic-Con.
Yeah, and we don't even have to hit just superheroes.
Right, so Thor Ragnarok.
In my opinion, I think, because I don't like the term who won Comic-Con, because you know who won? We did. We all won.
The fans won. The consumers won.
Exactly. So, but Marvel totally won. Actually, I think, look, I think it was kind of shitty of Marvel not to release that Infinity War trailer. I really do. And I love Marvel with all my heart. But to show it twice within a week, once at D23 and then at Comic-Con, and still not release it, with there being a leaked version out there somewhere that, I haven't watched it, and I'm waiting.
Do you think it'll be out this week? It's gotta be.
I think it's a smart move, but also, here's the thing. The movie is almost a year away still. So, does it make sense to release a full-length trailer this early and risk the hype dying down?
Good point.
The only reason I'm mad at them is because they showed it twice in a week at two different events and still didn't let anything out.
I hope they don't do a whole bunch of trailers for it.
Do it like Civil War.
Yeah.
Like Civil War did 2 trailers. That's it.
That's all you need.
Did they do TV spots? Obviously, but the TV spots were released that week of the movie coming out.
And plus, it was just kind of clips from the trailer itself anyway.
Yeah.
So we knew what kind of shit was going on. It was just little fixes.
I want a minute and a half teaser and then a 2.5 minute full trailer. That's all I need.
Yeah.
I may not even want to see the full, because this thing's 5 minutes that they showed at Comic-Con. I don't even know if I want to see that.
Good Lord. No.
You know what? I'm a liar. I want to see every second of that.
See, you want to, but the thing is, though, as a fan, if I watched a 5-minute trailer, 5 minutes, you know how long 5 minutes is? It's 5 minutes.
The Justice League one flew by for me, though. That did not feel like 4 minutes, which is a good thing. It was
exactly,
whoa.
Which is the same for Marvel. Their trailers and DC too. They're both coming up, and they're getting these trailers out there longer, but they don't feel longer. You want more. But with Infinity War, it's been building up since 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're just waiting. The balloon is filling up, and then it's gonna bust. But I don't want to watch it too soon, because then the hype will die down, for me at least. Now I know I say that.
That's bullshit.
No. I will be so hype for a couple weeks, but then other shit's gonna start happening, like UFC fights. I'll get distracted by other videos and other movies and stuff like that.
It was kind of like that for Civil War, though. That first trailer dropped for Civil War with Bucky and Cap, tag team and Iron Man, WWE style, tossing the shield back and forth.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop talking about that thing for weeks. But then the hype settled.
And then Underoos.
Yes.
Bam.
And the gap was almost, they had the Super Bowl TV spot where United, we stand. It was a cool one, but it was very short, and we've mostly seen all those things before.
Yeah.
But they left it. I think the first trailer for Civil War came out in November of 2015.
Yeah.
And then the next one didn't come out till March of 2016. That's a decent gap.
Yeah. See, because it's you show them, you show this big debut trailer, and then the hype is on point. It is just out of this world hype, and then it kind of dials back, and then bam, it's just right in your face again. And I think that's good marketing, because if you had, like, you want your peaks to be kind of a little bit farther apart. You know, you don't want like
Because if it's never gonna stay up here the whole time.
like for example, I'm making this comparison as like a polar opposite, but for like Despicable Me 3. Just hold on. Let me explain. So like, you know, we got this crappy trailer that showed basically nothing. And then other companies started to use the Minions for their advertising. And, oh, no, shit, I'm sorry. Boss Baby. That movie. I completely fucked that up. But both movies, their marketing was not good because they just kept putting it out there. But especially Boss Baby, I didn't see it. I'm never going to see it.
I saw it.
And you saw it.
I was not pleased.
Well, see, with animated movies, I love cartoon movies.
For me,
I love Disney. I love Pixar.
It's almost got to be Disney or Pixar at this point.
Right.
It's like you get the rare How to Train Your Dragon that just goes. Whoa.
Oh my god! No, but okay, but for real though, with Boss Baby, they came out with the trailer and they realized this trailer's not getting enough traction. Trailer sucks. Let's put it in everything. So I'm seeing it on billboards and other commercials sponsored by Boss Baby out whenever.
But that's not good.
It's not good, exactly. So Marvel's doing the exact polar opposite.
I got sick of it before I even saw it.
I got sick of it at the end of the trailer.
Marvel really knows. I mean, now we're praising them for what they did. Like we started this conversation with like, dude, Marvel, they fucked up. But they're like fishermen, like but the best fishermen. They put the bait on the hook, and just as you're about to bite, they reel it back. They're like, come on.
Exactly.
Come on.
That's exactly what
they let a little slack out, and then that final trailer drops. You bite, and they just reel you in.
Exactly. See, with Comic-Con, though, everyone thought they would show a trailer. Every single person was like, all right, they're probably going to show it, but they might not, but I'm going to watch anyway.
But again, the other argument is, did we pay to go to Comic-Con? No. Did we stand in line for 48 hours to go into the Marvel panel and get a seat? Sometimes people wait that long and don't even get in. They should probably get something exclusive for them.
Yeah.
So that's the argument there.
Which they might have. We just don't know.
The Infinity War trailer. That's what I'm saying. Like, they waited.
That movie? Oh.
They waited all that time, so they should probably get something for waiting that long. Like,
yeah,
that's a long time. Again, not everybody gets in, even if you wait in that line for 24 hours.
God.
Which would suck so bad.
That would suck a lot.
But if you got there, like, but thing is, to get into Hall H for all the Saturday stuff, so the Warner Brothers panel, the DC panel, the Marvel stuff, if Star Wars is there, they weren't there this year, but they've been in the past. It's like you're probably missing a lot of the rest of the Comic-Con.
Yeah.
To do that. But if you saw the Infinity War trailer, nobody else did, to be in that room might be worth it.
Good Lord. How long would you camp out to see the Infinity War trailer HD?
And I'm guaranteed that it's not going to be released the next day, so it was like pointless.
Yeah.
I would probably wait 2 days.
That sounds right.
I would probably wait 2 days.
That sounds right.
Now, real quick, this is kind of off topic, but I read something today, and it's just kind of been bugging me all day long, and I have to say something about it, because Marvel kind of shit the bed a little bit with Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay.
Spider-Man Homecoming kind of fucked up the timeline.
Elaborate.
Because it shows the Avengers battle, this is kind of a spoiler. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming, but seriously, if you haven't seen it by now, I don't think you want to see it. No, but so this is a spoiler alert. There's the Avengers battle in the beginning of the movie where Toomes is the cleanup guy. And Avengers is 2012, right? 2012.
Yeah.
Right after that, it says 8 years later.
Ooh.
2020.
Shit.
So so Civil War is supposed to be 2016. Doctor Strange is 2016. This is saying it's 2020, but it's immediately after Civil War. But they also said that Infinity War will take place 4 years after Guardians, 2014, 2018. So the same year it's being released. So somebody kind of fucked that up. Now,
I didn't think about that.
could they go back and, like, is it something major? No. It's like a title card that kind of you go, huh? Could they go back and just say 4 years later instead?
Damn it,
Yes.
Quinn.
Doesn't it bother you, though?
Well, it didn't before. Now it does, you asshole.
It didn't before with me either. And, like, I
Gosh.
read that and I went, shit. But it was probably just an honest, like, mistake. Which, again, though, I'm like, damn. Nobody caught that. Like, nobody.
Yeah, you would have to just really be, like, steeped in.
I'm saying, like,
to,
nobody
like,
at
pay
Marvel
attention.
even did, though. Like, they should have caught that.
You know how many eyes that had to go through? A lot.
Now, for their major fuck up in their universe to be, oh, they put 8 years instead of 4, like 4 years later. Oh, it's over. Cancel the slate.
Oh, shit in your mouth.
Cancel the rest of the slate. This motherfucker is screwed.
Shut it down. Shut down Marvel.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Exactly.
But that was, I just had to talk about it. I had to get it off my chest.
I didn't know that. I didn't even catch that at all, and I'm kind of mad you pointed it out.
Because now, it's going to affect every Marvel movie you watch now.
What if when it goes to DVD, they change it to 4?
Now, somebody did say, what if this is really just trying to retcon shit and, like, fix it without fixing it? It's like, what if when Doctor Strange was messing with the time shit, he fucked something up?
There you go. Perfect. I'm fine now.
I'm fine. That
okay.
made me feel better. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with that. It's kind of like how, they said Peter Parker was in Iron Man 2. He was the kid with the Iron Man mask on at the end that Tony saves. It's like, nice work, kid. Like Kevin Feige came out and said that was
nice.
him. Now that's just kind of throwing in a bullshit thing just to have another connector. Like, because there's no way back then they were like, yeah, it's Peter Parker. No, they just said it now. But it's a cool thing to think about when you watch it now. It's like, hey, you're Spider-Man.
Maybe. Like, yeah, he said it, but it might be what you said. It's like, he might just be scooping up some bullshit.
No, there's no doubt that's exactly what it is.
It might just be like a coincidental thing.
No, that's exactly what it is. They're just making a retcon that doesn't really affect the universe as a broader sense, just to have a cool little Easter egg in there.
It's probably just to have like more pride in the in the MCU itself. It's like, man, they really thought about this.
But now when you watch Iron Man 2 and you see that scene, you realize he's a kid with the Iron Man mask on and all this stuff. When he's in Spider-Man Homecoming, he says, I just wanted to be like you. Now you have that connecting tissue. That's why. Fuck. All right. Enough with Spider-Man Homecoming, though. Let's talk about the future. All right. So we've started with Marvel. Might as well just talk about the rest of their panel. So Thor Ragnarok was one of the things that it was the only thing they released.
Real quick.
To the public.
What's our reaction video up to now?
It's like 108,000.
108,000.
Yeah. So go check out our reaction to the Thor Ragnarok trailer. It's like it was so good.
God, I cannot. Okay, I really do think that when not really spoiler alert, just go watch the fucking trailer. When Thor is like
spoil a trailer.
When the goddess of death says, I'm the goddess of
I'm
death.
no queen. I'm no monster.
What were you the god of? And then thunder, oh my god. And
thunder, bitch.
And then he just rises up. There's thunder in his eyes.
Glowing eyes.
I really think it's his belt.
So, we didn't talk about this yet, but I was reading an article that...
Let's talk.
Because he loses Mjolnir. That's legit.
Right.
I thought it was a dream sequence, but he says it. Like he says, I lost my hammer, and like it's not he was dreaming.
It was like yesterday.
For Infinity War, I think between this movie, maybe at the end of this movie, or before Infinity War, during it, whatever, he's going to get ultimate Mjolnir from the comics. So the hammer and the axe on the other side.
Yes!
Dude, if he gets that, grody.
That's what I was just thinking.
That would be amazing.
My gosh.
But, dude, the cast of this movie is stacked. But also, the cast of every Marvel movie coming up is giant. Like, and it's kind of segueing this. Black Panther is going to be probably the biggest solo movie since Iron Man. In my opinion, I think that movie is going to
be huge.
That movie's going to make
good.
That movie's going to make so much money. It's being released in February. normally a dumping ground of bullshit for movies. Like January, February, and like September are usually dog shit movie months. Like there's nothing that comes out. So this thing's going to have weeks to have legs and just people go see it. And if it looks as good as the stuff we've seen so far, and you can tell Ryan Coogler, and he's the director, and he directed Creed, and I loved Creed.
Oh, Creed was awesome.
And he directed another movie called Fruitvale Station. This guy, you can tell, has a passion for this character just by watching the trailer.
Yeah.
There was nothing in that trailer, because what do a lot of solo movies, and this is a flack on Marvel, but I like it because I get giddy when I hear it. Most solo movies now, when the trailer comes out, what do they have to do? They reference the Avengers. Just to let you know, this is a Marvel movie and it's connected. They didn't name drop a single Avenger in this movie. They didn't talk about Bucky. This was Black Panther's trailer, movie, everything.
You know what I like what they're doing now is we've had a lot of team-up movies the whole 9 yards. You know, we had a lot of solo movies to start. We're still getting the solo movies. Quick note. Would you call Ant-Man and the Wasp a solo movie, even though it's 2?
Yes, because it's not an event. If it's not an Avengers movie, in my opinion, it's a solo movie. Even in my opinion, I think Captain America is a solo movie, minus 2 scenes. The beginning scene with them as a team, and then the airport battle. Everything else is pretty much Cap, Bucky, and Falcon, which was the same thing as Winter Soldier.
I wouldn't count. Okay, we're not getting into that right now, but there was a comment on the Thor video that we recorded, which has 108,000 views right now.
Oh God!
There was a comment that it's like, this is the movie Thor needed, because this movie, and I think you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. It's going to show. I forget who wrote the comment too, so I can't take credit for this. This movie's going to show what a badass Thor really is. Same thing Winter Soldier did for Captain America.
Yes.
Thor's going to get it. Black Panther.
See, Black Panther didn't need it, though. Like, Civil War showed off who he is.
He didn't need it, but he's going to get it. Like,
yeah.
Dude, it's going to...
He's like the best combination of Cap, Tony with the wealth, and Batman. Like, he's like a good mix, like the fighting styles of Cap and Batman with the wealth of Tony Stark.
The money of Tony Stark.
Because let's put it out there. One, Tony Stark is wealthier than Batman, so that comment makes sense. Yeah. But Black Panther is making buku bucks.
I don't think he's making it.
But yeah, it's assets.
He has buku bucks.
Like the vibranium is just, it's ridiculous. What would win over? Because I'm sure there's a comic book out there that I haven't read that shows what would go down, but vibranium against adamantium. That would be...
I would say vibranium.
Really? You think so?
Didn't Wolverine's claws get broken one time?
Yeah, that was in the Wolverine. They were like superheated or whatever, but... Off topic.
No, they didn't break. They just got super. Now that we usually don't talk about this movie, but it did get heated to cut Deadpool's head off. But he didn't.
But in the Wolverine, the next movie, remember he loses his adamantium,
and then gets like and
then they totally retcon it, and he's got it again in Logan, which I really don't give a shit about. Like Logan, well, they even said Logan. It is the end of this Wolverine trilogy, but it's a completely
But I know in the
separate
comic
movie.
books, adamantium is not indestructible. Like, I remember reading a comic, and I forget which one it is. It might be The Death of Wolverine. I could be totally wrong. I'm not claiming to be an expert, so before I get castrated right now, I'm going to put that out there. But there's a panel where it's showing his claws. His fist is raised, and then one claw just breaks, then the other one, then the next one, then the next one. So, but with vibranium, we saw Cap's shield broken. So,
but that was a vision.
But
it could happen.
Is it though?
Now but if Thanos punches Captain America's shield with the Infinity Gauntlet with all 6 gems, if it didn't break, I would be disappointed.
Skeptical hippo eyes.
I would be skeptical. But even in Civil War, we saw vibranium on vibranium. It's almost like a diamond. Like you can only cut a diamond with another diamond. Like when Black Panther scratched it, the claw mark showed up. But that was like the only time ever. Now, Bucky's arm is just a tough one. What the hell is that thing made of? I think it's some sort of mesh of vibranium, but other metals too, because Tony was able to blast it off there at the end. If that was just...
Well, okay. With that, though, it blasted off at the joint. Like, where the arm met the skin and muscle.
Yeah, but there was still some metal up here. So...
Oh, that's right.
But... Because if it was full-on vibranium and that happened, it should have the same thing should have happened to Cap's shield with that splash page when he's holding the shield and just like the Civil War cover.
God, it was epic, but yeah.
But we talked about, because we watched it the other day, I think there's some vibranium in that arm because there's 2 scenes in the movie and not many people catch it. And I only caught it like this, the time I caught it, I was like, what the hell? Both scenes are Black Panther and Bucky, one with Black Panther's suit on and one off, but he's got a ring on his finger. And Bucky's like trying to grab him or whatever, and Black Panther grabs his arm, and he starts almost manipulating his arm. And
exactly. And when you pointed it out, they both, like, you can hear a noise of metal moving, and then they both
focus on the hand.
They both look at Bucky's arm. And they're like, what the hell? And even Black Panther's like, wait, what's going on? You know, so I think you're right about that one. I think that ring can control vibranium.
It's either his ring or some superpower that he doesn't know he has, but it would make more sense for it to be the ring.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm like, I think Bucky's arm's a mesh. So, because he was able to fight Cap with it and like punch the shield and all this other stuff. If that was just like a metal arm and he punched Captain America's shield, his arm should exactly crush. What are we talking about? Is it Comic-Con?
Comic-Con.
We like segue.
Oh my god!
So quickly.
Okay.
So we talked about Black Panther, Thor Ragnarok. We don't really need to talk about Infinity War too much, but you know they.
But
Infinity War, it's... When do you want the trailer? Would you want just like Civil War?
Yeah, I want them spaced out, but I want like a really good 1-minute teaser.
I would not be mad though if they released it tomorrow.
No, obviously not, but I like...
If you were at work, I would call you and be like, quit your job right now.
I'm thinking in November. Get like a 1-minute teaser.
It's either going to come out really soon, like because that leaked trailer is going all over the place, which that kind of sucks for Marvel. If they don't release it soon, already a lot of people have seen that leaked trailer. Yeah. That's kind of a shitty way for people to see the first Infinity War trailer. A shaky cam with a bunch of people yelling that you can't even hear what's being said in the trailer, and you can kind of see a half screen.
So you did watch it?
No. This is what other people have said. I didn't watch it because it's this blah blah blah. So that's kind of a shitty way to see that first trailer. That happened with Age of Ultron. There was a leaked version, and it was really shitty. Yeah,
that's right.
And within literally the hour, Marvel released it with the caption, "Damn it, Hydra." That was pretty clever. But
I don't know if they can do that again, though.
No, but just release it, Marvel. God
what
damn
if? What if?
Hold on.
Hold on. And bear with me here.
Okay.
What if they... It's going to hurt to say.
They never have a trailer.
What if they didn't release a trailer? Hold on. Before you answer, let it sink in a little bit. Hold on. Hold on.
I've let it sink. Look, I've actually been one of the guys who have said, what if can you pick movies to not see anything and just go completely blind into?
I would pick Infinity War, to be honest.
But there's something about trailers that they're like little pieces of artwork, and if they're done right, they're masterpieces.
Exactly.
There's a couple trailers in my mind that are masterpieces of trailers. I'm not kidding. I know it's very recent, but I would say the second Civil War trailer was like a masterpiece of a trailer.
That was a good one.
The Batman vs Superman Comic-Con trailer was a masterpiece. Even the first teaser all the trailers, in my opinion, except for the Doomsday one,
Ugh.
were amazing trailers. And even they showed the Doomsday one, but then the next trailer, they show that scene. They start the trailer with the warehouse scene with Batman.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm in. Like, imagine that you didn't see any of that warehouse scene in the trailer. And then that was like a surprise.
My God.
I would have pissed my pants.
I think I would have really liked the movie.
I really like the movie. I like Batman vs Superman. Shut your hole. But like Last Jedi, if we didn't get anything else, I think I'd be okay.
Yeah,
because that trailer, there was like nothing in it. Let's be honest. It was a straight up tease.
Yeah,
there were just some glamour shots. You saw Rey doing lightsaber work. We knew we were going to see that in the movie.
Luke Skywalker watching over her like a.
I know. We
like
knew we were going to see that in the movie anyway. So there were no. The only thing that was big was it's time for the Jedi to end. But if that's all we got,
I'd be okay with that.
And plus, we just got the behind the scenes thing.
Yeah.
And that even got me hyped. I didn't even know if I wanted to watch that.
Yeah. It's like, do we react to this?
And it got me hyped. The thing is, I have a kind of a problem with behind the scenes videos before movies are released because it kind of sometimes, it didn't happen this time, but sometimes kind of takes the magic of the movie away. It's like, oh, so it's not, like, this is stupid to say, oh, so it's not real. Like,
oh my God,
it's being, you know what I mean, though. It's like if they showed a bunch of Infinity War behind the scenes and they're just shooting the movie and stuff, and then you went to it, see the movie, a lot of what I would be thinking about was, oh, I remember that from the behind the scenes thing. Like they were shooting it this way, so that's a green screen. That's fake. That's fake.
What you're talking about is, now it's a cliche term, but it's movie magic.
Exactly.
It's literally, and they do the same thing with plays too. Like in the middle of a play, you're not allowed to walk in during. Okay, in
the Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2, exactly. When he's like, now I know you've been to a play before.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you can't go in right now because it'll ruin the illusion. You are basically in an illusion.
That's legit, though.
It's weird to think about it, but every movie, if it's good enough, will hook you in with the illusion that you're there.
And Marvel has done a hell of a job doing that.
Exactly.
Because it feels, every time, I say this all the time, the reason I love the MCU so much is it feels like it's kind of going on, like right now.
Yeah.
Like it feels like, oh, this could be happening. Like, because the one thing they don't use, and this is fine for DC because it's legit to their comics, they don't use fake cities. Like it's New York, it's Washington,
exactly.
DC. Now Sokovia is fake, whatever. And Wakanda is also fake, but it's
so your point just fucking.
But the major things are real cities that are believable, and it's like when I go to New York, I've never been to New York. If I ever go to New York City, I'm gonna be disappointed when I don't see Stark Tower.
It's
there.
like, oh, I remember when that building right there got messed up by the Chitauri,
like the Leviathan, like coming through,
straight up mauled.
Like man, they clean this city up fast. Like, serious. No one talks about that. They could really clean up that city fast.
Yeah.
Like, that was a shit show.
And, dude, if the superheroes actually helped clean up, you know how fast that would go?
Not the Avengers. The Avengers, like, maybe Iron Man, and if Hulk was under control. But, like, most of it would be, but Man of Steel, like, if Superman didn't help with some of that cleanup, that would have been awful.
That would have been really awful. A real dick move on Clark Kent.
Yeah. So we talked about all the Marvel panel stuff. So Warner Brothers. Now, that's the one thing that Marvel does have over DC is that DC's panel is inside of the Warner Brothers panel. So it's not just a DC show. It's Blade Runner and Ready Player One and DC. So it's kind of not like they don't have the spotlight. When it's Marvel's show, it's their show.
It's a Marvel show, exactly.
So we'll talk about DC and then we'll talk about the Ready Player One and the Blade Runner.
Okay, so DC.
So they, obviously Justice League is their next big push because really that's other than, we have Aquaman next year, but that's really all we know.
Right.
That's all we know. We don't know of any dates. We know that they plan movies, but we don't know when they're going to come out. So in my mind, if there's not a release date, this movie doesn't exist. You can talk all you want about it.
Exactly.
Until
because
you
like
plant a flag.
if there's no set date, then they can just keep like pushing it back, pushing it back, pushing it back. It's like when you set a goal, it's like, okay, May 2016, this is coming out.
Yeah.
No, bar none. That's when it's happening. Like, can we talk about the Batman for a second? Like, I know Ben Affleck said that he's going to play Batman for a really long time, but I don't think I agree with it.
Really?
I mean, Ben Affleck is a really good Batman, really good Bruce Wayne.
My favorite.
Oh, definitely. Favorite Batman Bruce Wayne combo on the big screen to date. No joke. But with this character, though, and like we've said it and we've heard it, he's a seasoned Batman. So how much longer can he really be Batman?
Ben Affleck's only 43.
I'm not talking about Ben Affleck. I'm talking about Bruce Wayne / Batman.
Well, think about The Dark Knight Returns.
Exactly.
He was like, what? He was probably like 60-something years old as Batman in that comic. Was it super realistic? No. But look, I think that there's a way that he can be Batman for, honestly, I think he could do a trilogy and then send it off.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But
Fair
I
enough.
don't think, I think right now, this next Batman movie, whenever it's coming out, they have they have planted flags. They just haven't said what these movies are. They planted, I think it was February 14th of 2020 and June 5th of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
One of those has to be the Batman. It has to be. You can't wait.
It has to be.
You can't wait any longer. At that point, it's irrelevant.
Let me ask you this. So after Infinity War, what Marvel movies are after that?
So Infinity War and then Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That's a really interesting
Hold on.
movie.
Let's keep going with this because I have a point. Just keep going.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, and then Avengers 4.
Okay.
Untitled.
So
that's all they have planned.
Let me ask you this. So this
and then
is
Spider-Man Homecoming after that one. Or sorry, Spider-Man Homecoming 2, whatever. It's not going to be Homecoming, but whatever the sequel
Prom.
is.
Spider-Man Prom.
Spider-Man Junior Year.
Whatever. Anyway, there's got to be a point where Marvel kind of has to step back. Hear me out, though. So, Avengers 4, some big name has to die. If they don't, I'll be pissed.
I think multiple will.
Multiple. They have to.
I think Thor's gone.
So that'll be a good way to start the new Avengers with, like,
Doctor Strange,
Spider-Man,
Black Panther,
White Tiger,
Captain Marvel,
Luke Cage.
Oh, we're bringing the Defenders in.
I'm just saying, like,
Luke Cage was an Avenger at one point.
That'll be a good way to start that. But at some point, like right now, Marvel is climbing and climbing and climbing, and they're doing a hell of a job with it. But eventually, it's got to, what goes up must come down.
Well, I've always said that once Infinity War, both of them, whatever the fourth one's going to be called, it's obviously connected to this one. It's not going to finish. Like, they can't wrap this story up in one movie. Like,
exactly.
You can't. So after that's over and we go into Phase 4, they have to bring it down back to saving the block, saving the city. It can't be a world event every movie. So make these smaller scale movies. Maybe even lower the budget down. We don't need like a bunch of crazy special effects. Make it like how Spider-Man Homecoming was, which is why it was so good. He was saving the couple blocks of Queens.
But how many times can you do that, though? How many times can you go up to world-saving event down to Queens, all the way up to the universe, back down to Brooklyn? You can only do that so many times.
That's why I think they should keep it low for a while.
And, okay, so that being said, I think that's when DC has to strike. I know how that
Strike
sounds,
for blood.
but they have Dark Side. They got to bring in just these big, I don't know how to explain it.
Big guns.
They got to bring in the big guns because we know what they can do. We saw Wonder Woman and we loved it.
You mean let your directors direct and
let
don't
the
meddle
directors
with the movie?
direct and give us the best movie you can. Don't cut a movie short because you had too much film and you're going to just
You're
add
worried
it on.
about the runtime?
Exactly.
No, I guarantee you that.
Give us the best movie you can. So when Marvel is up here and it starts to go down, Okay, then we're going to get the Justice League, you know, and then at some point they're going to meet somewhere. And Marvel's going to have a pretty good movie, but DC will be on the rise, and then DC is going to...
What sucks about that is we're going to have these, like, stupid fanboys that are like, you know...
I know, but...
Rest in peace, Marvel. DC's, like, taking the cake now.
But think about it. I don't want the movies to turn out like the comic books where... Okay, do you know what's happening in Marvel comic books right now?
Well, they're rebooting the heck out of everything.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
That's why comic books are so hard to get into if you're a new reader, because it's like, where do I start? Nobody knows.
No one knows. So you would almost have to go away from Earth 616. You would have to...
Flashpoint the Marvel Universe.
No, not Flashpoint it, but you would almost have to go like Spider-Gwen or Spider-Girl or something. You'd have
do something just off the wall. No
Spider-Man 2099.
Like, do something that isn't a through line.
There's no place to go. Right now, Marvel, I love Marvel to death. I have a Thor, I have Mjolnir tattoo on my calf. I'm, big Marvel fan. But at some point, these movies, they gotta just, run their course.
Well, here's the thing. I want both DC and Marvel to be, because here's the thing. They're not competitors, because if you don't think Marvel wants DC to do well, you're crazy. Marvel wants Justice League to be like the best comic book movie ever, because it'll keep fans hungry for superhero movies. Exactly. If Justice League is awful, then people will have a sour taste in their mouth for the next superhero movie that comes out.
Exactly.
Not us, but the general audience, who is like gets to maybe see one movie a month, if not every 2-3, and they pick that Justice League movie, and it's awful.
It's like,
then
when
Black Panther rolls around, they're like, remember the last time we saw a superhero movie? No, we're gonna go see Rough Night 2. Like,
because Marvel and DC are under this big umbrella of comic book / superhero movies, and the general audience just doesn't understand that one is completely separate from the other. You can like one and not the other. You can. I don't. I like them both anyway.
Yes.
But, you're more than welcome to not like Marvel or not like DC, but to the general audience, it was like you said, they'll see a comic book movie that flops like Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern and just be like, they're all the same. I've actually heard people say, it's a superhero movie, they're all the same.
Yeah, and it's not true.
It breaks my heart.
If you look at, the tail end of the Phase 2 movies for Marvel and what we have now in Phase 3, Winter Soldier, it's an espionage, it's a political thriller movie. Ant-Man is a heist film. Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a space. They're all different. Guardians of the Galaxy does not feel like the Winter Soldier. They don't even feel like they're in the same universe, but they feel like completely different movies.
But people don't, like the general public doesn't, like the fans know, like the fans can pick up on that. Like, yeah, we know it's a Marvel movie, but damn, it's so different. The tone is different. The color palette is different. We pick up on that, but like you said, the moviegoers that go maybe once every 2 or 3 months, they don't. It's not that they don't like them; they don't give themselves time to like them. Quote me,
well,
Alex Hutton.
We've definitely invested a lot of. That's the first time we've ever said your last name on this channel.
Nah, whatever.
We've definitely invested a lot of time to get in depth with these movies, so it's like
we're steeped. We're steeped in Marvel right now and DC. We're steeped in it.
Yeah, like a tea bag.
Why? What made you think that was okay? What made you think that was cool to say?
So we were talking about Justice League.
And we got to Marvel. We have a bad habit.
We have a horrible habit of doing that. It just goes to show you how good that is.
All right, but let's really try to stick on it.
So we were talking about the Batman.
Okay. Sorry.
So the Batman with Ben Affleck, I think, if they do it, now this is all, harping on, is Ben Affleck going to stay Batman? I think he is. I think he kind of put that to bed at Comic-Con. He's like, I love this character. I'm going to answer that phone every time it comes calling. So as long as he is this character, the Batman movie, it needs to be something completely un-Nolan-like. I want straight up comic booky Batman. Because Nolan's, as much as I love The Dark Knight and Batman Begins and like the first 10 minutes of Dark Knight Rises, it's the ultra realistic Batman.
Yeah.
This, I want straight up Arkham Asylum kind of Batman.
Yeah, like give us the larger than life Batman, not the super like just a dude in hockey pads.
Well, I mean, Ben Affleck is a freaking larger than life Batman. He is giant.
Yeah, and I think that's important. And this is the Batman we needed. Like now we needed a good Batman. Like we need a good Batman. We have it now.
Every time it says like we need a hero or whatever, I think of the speech that Gordon says at the end of the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
A watchful protector, a Dark Knight. That speech gives me chills still.
Every time.
But the two movies that they talked about, obviously, was Justice League, but they talked about Aquaman too, and they didn't release any of the footage they showed of Aquaman, but the reception was off the charts. And picking Jason Momoa to be this new Aquaman was,
oh my God.
It was the smartest choice they could have had, because
awesome.
If they would have went with a blonde-haired, orange and green suited guy, now there are comic books where he is awesome like that, but otherwise you had to pick a badass.
Yeah, and just his character right now, not just a superhero, but his not really alter ego, because I don't think there really is an alter ego. But because he's kind of like the same person. He's like Tony Stark and Iron Man. I know we're going back to Marvel.
Well, it's like it feels like he's playing Khal Drogo again from Game of Thrones. Like he's always that guy in the movies, which is what I want out of an actor. And not saying that it wouldn't have worked if it was somebody just acting, but if someone is just straight up being who they are and still being a badass, that's what I want.
Definitely. Man. But, okay, now Flash.
Flashpoint now.
Oh, no. Not the movie. Okay, we'll get to the movie, but Flash. You still like him as Flash?
We've only seen trailers, but I thought he stole that last trailer, especially with that line where he's like, I just kind of push people and run away. I'm really happy about this guy being Flash. I think it's something new and refreshing. People are always like, you should have gotten Grant Gustin to be fun. Like, he is a great TV actor, Flash. That guy, and I love him, could not be a big screen Flash.
I don't think so either.
I can just tell by his persona. He couldn't be.
The demeanor.
Yeah, it's that of a pouty child. That's not true. But this guy, he feels like they're going, and if it ain't broke, very Peter Parker, Tony Stark with Batman and Flash in this one, like the mentor young kid relationship, which is fine. And like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But the thing is, though, with Flash, I don't want it to turn into something like, I don't want it to feel like Spider-Man Homecoming again.
I don't think it will. Well, are you talking about like him personally or his movie?
Okay, so with Justice League, I don't want this to be like, okay, we have to debut the Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg. We can put Cyborg on the back burner for a little bit because his movie's quite a ways off. And then Aquaman is really cool, and but we really need to push Flash. We really need to put him to the. I don't want them to push Flash towards the front just because, hey guys, check this out.
I think that this is just speculation. What they're going to do based off what I've seen in the trailers is they're going to treat some of the Justice League very similar to how they treated Spider-Man and Black Panther in Civil War, which I think is the best decision they could do right now because Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, we know their story. We know everything about them. They're the key part of the team. I think Aquaman will be the one that gets the most backstory out of the new three coming in because we've already seen him in Atlantis in the trailer, so we're going to see his home and all this other stuff. And obviously Steppenwolf and his army, the parademons, are coming to Atlantis as well. So he is going to be kind of the forefront new character.
Yeah.
And I think
I
Flash
hope so.
and Cyborg are going to be that kind of Spider-Man, Black Panther kind of the same way that Civil War did it, where it's like we're not going to go into like a bunch of origin depth. We're just going to be like, here they are, go.
Here's the thing, though. With Spider-Man, we know his origin. Got bit by a spider. His Uncle Ben is dead. We know that
We
already.
haven't even heard a sniff of Uncle Ben's name.
We already know that, but we don't know. Fans kind of get it.
I think Flash is not crazy well known, his origin, but it's well known enough.
Well, because they're showing his dad in the trailer. His dad's in prison for killing his mom.
And this movie's going to be long.
It's going to be a long movie, but
I'm fine with it. This movie
but
could be
the thing
4
is,
hours
though,
long, and I'd go see it.
It's going to kind of be like the show. Like, with Barry Allen. It's like, well, it's still Barry Allen.
That was always a story in the comics, too, where his dad got put in prison for the
murder of his mom. Well, it's
spoiler alert.
Still murdered, but they thought
it was his dad.
Mr. Allen.
Yeah.
Killer.
Cyborg is the toughest piece of this puzzle.
I don't know where he fits yet, and I hope he's not in the whole movie, because if he's in the entire movie, then it's like, okay, so there's this really cool cyborg character. Why?
And they really need to explain why. It looks as if a parademon in the trailer dropped off a mother box at his dad's home, and then he used it based off the security footage from Batman vs. Superman to, make Cyborg.
Yeah.
So, like, why would Steppenwolf and Darkseid give them the tools to make Cyborg? Now, we could just not understand because the trailers, like, we haven't seen the movie, but it literally looks like, because remember, he comes home, there's a mother box there, his dad comes home, and then we see a parademon, like, behind the curtain. It's like, they just bring him a mother box and say, make your son a cyborg, and then he's going to fight us.
Well, maybe they were trying to, so they chose a person, and they were wanting to create this, like their version of Boba Fett. Their mercenary, their bounty hunter type person. Like, Darkseid wanted somebody, like his Silver Surfer, like his, like his person to go out and just
scout out the planet,
scout it, get it done. You know, if there's somebody that needs killing, he gonna do killing. But then he just, becomes Cyborg.
And he's got a tough, battle, not just Cyborg, but like the actor, because it's like he's really the only actor on that team that we don't really know very well. Like,
He's got some big shoes to fill.
We know Ezra Miller, we know Jason Momoa, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill. His name, I think, Ray Fisher is his name. So we've only heard him say like 2 lines in both trailers.
Yeah.
Again, which makes me think he's going to be kind of a backseat role on the team. Not saying he's not going to be an important part of the team, but more of a, we'll explain him later.
What they need to do is exactly what you said. They need to do it like Black Panther. They need to show him just enough to leave us wanting his own movie. Like, we want his movie that bad.
Oh yeah, that. I mean, I'm not saying that was the only reason Black Panther was in Civil War,
but it's a fine balance too. Because if you show too much, then you have questions about the Justice League movie. If you don't show enough, it's like, well, then why the hell was he even here? And so it's a good. They have to operate in a very small window.
If Black Panther, if they just would have went, all right, he wasn't in Civil War, and then Black Panther movie's coming out in 5 months, we'd be like, oh, cool. But we wouldn't be as hyped.
Exactly. So they have to showcase Cyborg enough to pique our interest for that character.
Yes, I agree. So we'll move away from the comic book now. Now this will be your more of you talking, because I've never read the book. So they came out with a Ready Player One trailer.
Oh my God! Let me talk about this for a second here. Well, the book is amazing. You need to read the book. And I think I explained to you, like, basically what it's about. But for those of
And
you
I knew what it was about beforehand. I just never read the book.
For those of you that don't know, basically in Ready Player One, it is set in the future, and it's a dystopian future. And the main character, and his name is escaping me right now.
That's fine. Not important. Just the plot.
Anyway, so basically this guy named James Halliday, he creates the Oasis. The Oasis is this VR universe that you can go into, kind of like Gamer or Surrogates, where you can just basically plug in and live your entire life. And it started out as just a video game, but then you can go to like public school in this thing. So people can live their life through the Oasis. And basically, James Halliday, when he passed away, he created this video basically announcing this Easter egg hunt. You find 3 keys, and if you find this Easter egg at the end of this, you get the entire fortune, which it's worth billions and billions. So it's basically a race to find this Easter egg. And I am so excited for this movie. And I know I've talked about it before, but there are certain things that I've read or that I've played in a video game or I watched as a movie. It's like, you know what, that'd be really cool as a movie. Or it's like, you know what, that'd be a really fun game. It's like, but then you take a step back and then you think, you know what, let's just leave it alone. You know, it was a good book, let's leave it a good book. It was a good game, let's leave it a good game. I felt the same way with Ready Player One.
And then I saw the trailer.
Exactly. And like I heard that there was going to be a movie, and I heard it a couple years ago. Like Spielberg was going to...
It's been in the works for a long time.
Spielberg was going to do a movie about Ready Player One, and then I was like, I really didn't know how to feel about it, because I'm like, well, the book was so good, and usually the movies are not as good as the books. So then I saw the trailer, and I thought different now, because the trailer showed like
the money shots of why you should be watching this movie or reading the book.
Everything that I pictured while reading the book, I saw in that trailer. I saw the stacks of trailers, and it's actually on the cover of the book. Have you seen the cover of the book? Yeah. The stacks, yeah. So everything I saw in the trailer, I was like, oh my god, that's that. And you know, the big party scene. There's a big party scene where they get invited to, and it's really, really fucking cool. And I just really hope they do this movie right, because when I first heard that there was a movie that's going to be made, I'm like, well, they're probably going to mess it up. It's going to be like Battleship, where they base it off of a board game, which
very loosely based.
Very loosely based.
Like there was like one scene where they said like, missile to F5 or something just to reference it.
But it's one of those things where like I really hope the movie is good. And now a few years passed, we get this bomb-ass trailer, and then I'm like, yep, player one's about to press start.
For someone who's never read the book, it intrigued me to read the book. Just the trailer did. Now, I am one of the people who, when I've never read a book, and I know they're making a movie, I subscribe to the theory that I think it's better to read the book after you see the movie. If it's coming out like really soon, now if it's like 5 years away, read the book, whatever. But if you read that book and then you love that book and then the movie comes out and it's like, well, it didn't live up to the book.
Yeah.
But if you reverse it, you watch the movie first and you're like, well, that was really cool. But then you read the book and it's like you get extra, like, well, man, this, that's awesome. Like it's almost like deleted scenes.
I understand that. It makes sense the way that the way that works out. But for me, like with Harry Potter, I got into it late in the game.
I got it after I saw the movies.
Way late in the game. I've watched a couple of movies, here and there, but then I read all the books. I saw all the movies after I read the books. So the way you're going to go about it kind of does make sense.
Because I know a lot of people who loved the Harry Potter books, and they liked the movies, but they were like, well, this was missing. And I was waiting to see this scene, but they never put it in the movie. So if I see the movie for what it is, without having any prior knowledge of the source material, love the movie and then I go read the source material, I get like I said, it's like deleted scenes. It's like, well, that's cool. Well, that's awesome. Like, but I still like the movie because the other way around, if it doesn't live up to all the book's expectations and you read it first, then you don't love one of the things. But the other way around, you could end up loving the movie and the book. But what's intriguing me about this is just it's a bunch of 80s stuff. It's like DeLoreans.
Dude,
Even the Tron references, playing Rush in the trailer. It's like this is a cool idea.
You're gonna love the book then.
I did like they had the because I even talked about it with like when you explain the whole key thing. It's like it was very like Golden Ticket.
Exactly.
But they even played in the trailer the Pure Imagination song from Willy Wonka.
Exactly.
So, it's a really, like, people, again, I've never read it, but I immediately made that connection with it.
Yeah, and what's really cool, and this is in the prologue of the book. Basically, he announces this big Easter egg hunt, and you got to find these 3 keys, and no one finds it. No one finds the first key for very, very years past. Everyone forgets. People that are still hunting for this Easter egg are kind of looked down upon by the mainstream society. And then somebody finds it. Boom. And then it just ignites.
The hunt is on.
The hunt is back on. So that's what really, I don't know how else to say it, but kickstarts this Easter egg hunt.
Yeah. So I'm excited about it. Now, I didn't read anything about the Blade Runner, the thing they did there.
Yeah.
But everything, I really like the first Blade Runner movie, but this movie just looks beautiful.
It does look really cool.
And
visually looks very.
It's the same guy who did Arrival, and that movie visually is just incredible. So
very true.
I'm just hoping it's not all like no substance, all visuals. You know what I'm saying? I want there to be a really good story behind it. Now, bringing back Harrison Ford's a good step. I feel like, and I'm not a big Jared Leto fan, but what I've seen from him in the trailer, I think he fits in this role.
Jared Leto,
very weird person.
Yeah, I feel like now he has to play the weird guy. Like he can't go and just play like
Family Man,
like in Suicide Squad, that daydream that Harley Quinn had.
That was weirder than anything else.
That's it. Like Tom Cruise is the action guy. Nick Cage is this stoic whatever.
Stoic.
He just
poor choice of words. Like Keanu Reeves is stoic.
No, okay, very good point. But
whoa. I'm still, and I love him in La La Land, and he's good in The Notebook. As much as I don't really like that movie, he's a good actor. I'm still on the fence about Ryan Gosling in this role, and it's really only because of one scene with that back and forth with him and Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
it felt like very flat to me, where he's like
flat, kind of forced.
Where he goes like, you're a cop, all this other stuff. What are you here for? I'm here to ask you some questions. I felt like it should have been like a better line, or maybe it was just poor writing. I don't know, but I don't know how I feel about him in that role yet.
I don't think the trailer hit.
We'll see.
I don't think the trailer hit as hard as they wanted to.
No, but I think the point of the trailer was just to show off how beautiful this movie looks, or
Definitely.
will look. All right, well, let's finish off. Last week, we're just going to segue this into our podcast. Last week, we went and saw 2 films back to back. It was rough. That was like the first time I've done that in a while.
Yeah.
So Wednesday, we got invited to a screening of Valerian. So, or do you want to talk about Valerian second? Let's talk about Valerian second.
Let's do that.
So then we saw Dunkirk on Thursday night.
Non-stop action thrill ride.
I will no.
No, I'm kidding.
We'll kind of do this how we do our reviews. We're going to non-spoiler. We're not going to give anything away because it's still like a week. It's only been out for a week. So Dunkirk for me, it's not my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, obviously, but you can definitely, all of his movies have that feel. Like this is definitely a Nolan movie, and it's the music, it's the visuals, it's all of it put together. You could have. My problem with this movie is you could have casted anybody for this movie. You could
Okay,
have
wait,
casted
pause,
anybody.
pause. What if that was the point? Because back then, there were so many people, and they all kind of did look the same.
No, what I'm saying is, like, you have Tom Hardy, you have Cillian Murphy, who played Scarecrow, and all this other stuff, and you have Kenneth Branagh. That's some pretty big names right now in Hollywood.
And then a bunch of randoms.
But what I'm saying is, and I can't remember his name. He won an Oscar last year. He played the ship captain, the civilian ship captain, the dad. But you have all these big names, but this movie had little to no character development, which is fine for the purpose of the movie, but it's like it could have been anybody. You didn't need like these big name actors.
I agree with that.
I think it was more just like to bring people into the movie, because if there was nobody in this movie that you knew, even though it was a Nolan flick, you probably wouldn't have gotten a lot of people to go see it.
Yeah. And so I agree with you wholeheartedly. But I kind of want to talk about the action. Obviously it's a war movie. They're going to have action in it.
Mm-hmm.
But the action wasn't like all throughout.
And it wasn't over the top.
It wasn't over the top, not gory.
It wasn't glorified, like almost fictionalizing it.
And the thing is, though, when there was no action, you were anticipating action.
Those were the most intense scenes, is when it was like dead silent, no action.
Basically, the calm before the storm. It was just dead quiet, and you just hear the of the clock just ticking, and it's like, okay, something happened, please. Somebody shoot. Somebody do something.
When I went and saw it again this weekend, so I've seen both movies twice now. Dunkirk on the second viewing, I completely realized it was like, this movie does not have a lot of rewatchability.
No.
Now, in my book, that's how I rate a lot of movies. It's like, can I go home and watch this again? Can I watch this 20 times and still feel the same way on the 20th time? And it was, I'm not saying it was a chore to get through the second time, but it was like, oh, wow, this is heavy. It's like, Schindler's List is a great movie, but you can't watch that every night. Like,
no, you'd be a mess.
No. I do think that you would have been more emotionally invested in this movie had there been a little more dialogue and character development. That's my criticism of it.
Because like I was trying to think of like quotes from that movie, and I only could pick a couple.
And like they're from the trailer.
That night, I could only pick, like, right now, I probably couldn't tell you a quote from that movie except for Dunkirk.
Or
when the
one from the trailer where he's like, you could practically see it from here. What? Home.
Exactly.
So overall, I would give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. I think that's my score for it. If there would have been more character development, a little more dialogue, I would have been more emotionally invested. I wasn't emotionally invested. I was just like, we were in an IMAX theater. I was freaked out. Like the sounds, like that's the thing. Visually and the sound design, amazing.
Okay, real quick. So we've talked about it as a movie, but how do you think it compares to other war movies?
Well, I think Saving Private Ryan is the gold standard, but it's a completely different kind of movie. There was almost zero blood in this movie, there was nothing, and Saving Private Ryan's purpose was as a movie was to kind of be like, this is what war is.
Exactly, because it like the actors, Tom Hanks, really showed. I mean, now I will say, like, no one can know what war is like unless you've been in it.
Yeah.
But for the average moviegoer, to see the emotion that he put into that role, and what all the actors did when spoiler alert, when Vin Diesel dies, if you haven't seen that movie,
spoiler alert,
go home and watch that movie. But
but that's the point.
All the emotional ethos that they put into this.
And that's what's lacking in Dunkirk, I feel, because we were emotionally invested in Saving Private Ryan. In this movie, it was just kind of like, visually it's great. I'm sure it's historically accurate, but as a film, as a movie. Like, you're supposed to be going to a movie to be, like, sucked in this experience.
In the illusion.
And I'm like, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's a couple scenes that I really love, and this isn't really a spoiler. You know, there's a couple scenes where you see them all standing on the beach in the trailer, and, you know, they get bombed or whatever, and then everybody just stands back up and goes about their business. That was awesome, because it's like, you know, that's probably how it was.
It's an everyday thing.
It's like, oh, there's bombs dropping. All right, let me go down, duck my head. All right, well, we're out. All right. So there's obviously great scenes, but I think as a whole movie put together, I think it was a little hard to follow at times.
A little sloppy.
But the editing process, I don't necessarily agree with. It was a concept that was cool, where it was like, you know, certain areas, the whole story was going on at the same time, but like for different time frames. It was a cool concept, but I think execution-wise, it was very tough for an audience to follow.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I'm giving it 7.5 out of 10.
I was actually going to give it a 7 as well, but then you put in the half there. You didn't want to me. No, as a movie itself, I got to give it a 7, because the rewatch value, I think, is not that high.
Nope. I probably won't see this movie again for a while. You know, if it's on, I'll probably watch it, but it's
more of like a background
like The
noise
Dark
type
Knight,
thing.
I can watch 30 times. This movie, I can't. Like, twice was enough for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we saw the day beforehand at a screening, we went to see Valerian.
Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets.
And I don't think 6 months ago I would have been able to come out of a weekend that had Valerian and Dunkirk and say, I enjoyed Valerian more. I would have, like, it's surprising me to say it right now.
Just from the trailers, I thought I would have liked Dunkirk more.
Yeah.
But Valerian came out of nowhere. Now, a lot of people really didn't like this movie. They said this movie was sloppy. They said it was hard to follow. And it's like, okay, try to take a step back. It's obviously a sci-fi flick. It's way in the future. But when you have a movie like that, you have to accept a couple truths.
That's what I was about to say. It's like,
you have to just get. Now, this movie didn't like force me to get over aliens, because obviously there's aliens in this movie. But when you watch certain movies, you have to accept, okay, there's aliens. Okay, they can be in some other dimension.
And there's a lot of complaints I was hearing was like, well, they didn't explain how this worked, like technology. It's like, you're supposed to kind of just, like, I took it for granted. Like, I was like, okay, this is like 2800, the year 2800. I buy it. Like,
exactly.
this should be a thing right now. Like, the alien you got past, but, you know, interdimensional viewing goggles, whoa, dude, take a step back. I think, honestly, the best part about this movie was Cara Delevingne. She added a lot of levity to this movie and made it a lot more fun.
You know what they could have done easily was made this kind of a sci-fi war movie, or like an espionage type movie.
Yes.
Because they could have just had no emotion, but then, you know, the two main characters were actually dealing with a relationship at that point. So they were experiencing these real problems that's like, oh, okay, well, they are human. You know, so I think that was really cool. Even in times of war, in times of this technological advanced society, yeah, they're still human. They're still dealing with these things.
Yeah, and I thought it followed a very... It is convoluted, I guess. It's kind of a bad tone word, but it's a big story, but at its heart, it's a simple story.
It is.
And it's a story that we've seen before in a lot of other movies. Like this, and it was a graphic novel, obviously, but I could see a lot of, like, you know, Ender's Game in there. I could see Fifth Element, Avatar, a lot of, you know, movies that I've seen before in this movie. And that's the, you know, obviously visually this thing looked fantastic. And I don't really like 3D that often. This was a movie that was good in 3D.
It was very good. The special effects, I think, might get some flack for this, better than Avatar. I'm just going to put it out there.
Oh, well, the technology is so more advanced now.
I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, so I thought the chemistry between Dane DeHaan, Cara Delevingne was great. I thought, actually, as a whole, the cast was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The action was sweet, but they didn't, like... a lot of this movie could have been just action scene, action scene, action scene. They let it rest, they let it go down, and then pick back up. It was a nice hills and valley kind of movie.
Yes.
So, overall, I give it an 8 out of 10.
I was gonna give it an 8.
Yeah, I'm giving it an 8.
8.25.
8.25. You're gonna one up me on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just our personal opinion. So you don't have to agree with us.
And a professional, unlicensed opinion.
Yeah. So we talked about Comic-Con. Those are 2 movie reviews. We're ready to wrap this thing
All right,
up.
let's go ahead and close this thing out. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for listening to episode 6.25 of On Your Left podcast with Iconic Comic. You listeners on iTunes, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Yep.
And those of you on YouTube, make sure you guys like,
comment,
share,
and
so
subscribe.
that you don't miss anything from this channel. So make sure you stay tuned.
Stay iconic.
And cue music.
Holy Grail.